Blessings, blessings, blessings. I am the Consciousness Consultant, and this is Spirituality 101.
See, you like to blame them onions when you cry, but you so sweet now them onions caramelized. You been asleep.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cream Rises. How y'all doing? This is Wednesday. Cream Rises. We got the Consciousness Consultant, and I'm GLook. And hey, just want to tell everybody again, thank you for subscribing, sharing, for your cash apps, your support, your emails. Pretty soon we'll be able to do some live chat with you. As soon as we get to a certain amount of numbers, and the subscriptions are going up big. So, you know, we're just going to keep it moving. Just want to give a shout out to everybody, Cowgirls of Color, Three Musketeers, Oakland Riders, Buffalo Soldiers, up north and south, all our Soul Shot Riders, back east, Mississippi Mud Riders. Let me see, IE Cowboys, Compton Cowboys. If I'm leaving anybody out, I just left you out. I mean, I love all of you, but I just want to give a special shout because all you guys have been hitting us up and giving us your well wishes. So you give us some well wishes, I'm gonna shout you out. Also, just look on our website to go ahead and get those hats, California Longhorn hats. How you doing over there, Consciousness?
I'm good. Real good. Actually, I got a topic that I was just fire on my heart that I would love for us to talk, but it's a beautiful day, beautiful Wednesday. Glad everyone's tapping in this evening. And, you know, like I said, we firing it up and we keeping the flow for what's channeling through us and what we here to do. So very excited.
Right. So look, before you get to the subjects, I want to make it clear to everybody early in the podcast. The reason why we do the podcast is to uplift, you know what I'm saying, enlighten, get you on a higher spiritual base, understanding of you and God and what your purpose is and how your purpose can be fulfilled through spirituality and consciousness. That helps our kids. So we're not out here marching. We're not saying, please don't beat our ass, Mr. Police, Mr. White Man. Please help us build our own banks. And why is everybody overweight and shooting each other and waving a sign and shit like that? It's all about purpose because once you're in your purpose, you are actually contributing to the human race, but really to the people around you is generally your people. All right? So just have an understanding where the cream will rise to the top as we move forward. So we're not destined to be obliterated, and we're not destined for extinction, or the man is not going to be a center. We're just going to use another technique of building from within. And so that's what we're all about with Cream Rises. Just wanted to say that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So go ahead. What we talking about today there? What we talking about today?
Yeah, we talking about, this is Spirituality 101. I feel like this is a word that's kind of gets away from a lot of people. It's kind of abstract. It ties into religion. It ties into some unseen stuff, and ties into a lot of woo-woo stuff.
So what's the difference? What's the difference between spirituality and religion?
Oh, it's a difference. Well, that's what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about that's the key points for today. But just to answer your question on a surface level, spirituality is the spirit behind religion.
Okay.
It's the spirit behind religion.
Okay.
Yeah. So spirituality is the birthing of the religion. The religion is the practical application in a human form, and the structure of it for certain minds and temperaments to digest what the spirit is giving. Okay. So they made religion because we all built differently. Right. You know, you got engineer minds, you got artist minds, you got CEO minds, and you know, so they have different religions or worldviews or different philosophies that harness your spirituality. So this is what I want to get into. GLook, I want to just give a couple points, 2 or 3 points that people can palate and digest, and so they can have a simplified understanding of when I say spirituality, or when we talk about, when we say anything that's God or any word like that seems woo-woo or high or spirit or unseen, that there's some grounding to that. Okay. And so first I want to hit the point of one of the fundamental foundations of spirituality is our connection, right, with something higher. It's a
Okay.
connection thing.
All right.
Right. And so we make this practical, just like people have families, people have friends, to feel connected, to feel loved, right? In the physical, right?
So
Our
is that
spirituality.
like meditation or prayer or isolation or
Mhm.
anything that's connection with something higher?
Those are practices for connection.
Oh, okay.
Those are
Okay.
practices.
Okay.
So there's different practices. Some people like to go on long walks on the beach. Some people like to meditate. Some people listen to certain music. Some people pray.
Right.
Some people, you know, want to go swim. These are practices for us to feel connected to something higher than ourselves. That is
Okay.
an aspect within the human experience because that's an aspect of our spirit.
All right.
Who we really are is to feel connected to something higher. We yearn for something eternal and bigger than us. We're
Okay.
made for that, right? That's why people go to concerts and they put their hands up. They go on
Mm-hmm.
roller coasters, put their hands up. They go to football games and paint their face. They go to church. We're built to connect with something bigger or higher than us, right?
Okay. Okay.
So that's the first aspect of spirituality 101,
Right.
to connect, to have a practice to connect with something higher than yourself, or something that connects you with something that is bigger than yourself,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Right. So number two, do you have any questions about that one? I think we kind of
No, no,
hit that a
because
little bit.
I mean, I know we do different things to try to do that. Drugs.
Hmm.
We do like you say, we might listen to a concert, be with a whole bunch of people, and just do some stupid shit. Uh,
Hmm.
ride a wheelie against traffic. I mean, we try to do some kind of connection with something different or higher.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But I guess you're talking about the divine, higher to God.
Right, right,
Right.
right. The connection that's never exhausted, right?
Okay.
Because our human connections are representations of our divine connection. So you're my dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have a physical connection, and
Right.
then we have a spiritual connection in that physical. And that spiritual connection is a representation of our connection with the highest thing.
Okay.
Because I can lead his body, right?
Right.
Just like you could go or whatever. And if my physical connection was the totality of my actual connection with the highest thing, then I could be distraught or my spirit could be broke. But
Okay.
when you realize there's a higher relationship, a higher connection that feeds all your physical connections,
Yeah.
now you have a source that's higher. It's like a tree, trunk, and then branches.
All right.
So our physical connections are branches, but our trunk has to be connected to something higher,
So that's
right?
why spiritual
So
people, people that live in the world of the spirit, are a little bit off than most mainstream people. How they dress, how they move, how they're quiet,
yeah, no,
how their
right,
disposition is not connected or agitated by the things of this world. The higher in your
right,
spiritual connection, the less you
right.
apt for the bullshit.
Right, right. And yeah,
Okay.
you might still be a part of dynamics in this place, but your fundamental core is absorbed with that eternal bigger connection. So you know everything's a one-off from that.
Right.
So when you're walking in this life, your physical is second, but you're able to love even more, connect even more truly because you have a higher source.
Right. Right.
So you're not as
Okay.
limited as well too.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that
Right.
in another nutshell.
Right.
So I want to just make sure that
Right.
that's clarified.
Okay.
So
Number two.
um number two. So number two is our spirituality 101. Second point is our inspiration, and it's in the word in itself. Inspiration means in spirit, right?
Oh.
Spirit, inspiration. It's a spirit.
Okay.
It's a self-explanatory word in itself, right?
Okay.
The in spirit, the inspiration. So I want to make a great example right now. Motivation is motive. Is motive. You're encouraged by motives,
Right.
right? That's motivation, right? You
Okay.
need hits of that. You need a goal. You need motivations.
Right.
Inspiration comes from the spirit. It is the essence of who you are,
Okay.
the thing that pulls you naturally without even having to be motivated.
Right.
That's when you say a spiritual person, or that whatever they would do even when no one is watching
Yeah.
is your inspiration, because you have no
Yeah.
motives behind it, behind being inspired,
Right.
right?
Right.
So inspiration is a second point to your spirituality 101. These are points to the thing that inspires you to do and be what you are
Right.
in your existence.
Okay.
right?
Right.
And this could be a little confusing because there's things that you can do off of motivation that won't satiate you because it's based off of human motives. But
Oh yeah, that's why.
inspiration,
That's
what
why.
you
Just right around the time people falling out of the gyms after their New Year's resolution. What? Just about the middle of February. Yeah,
no,
right
it's the
around
beginning,
March.
beginning.
That
Yeah.
motivation start wearing off. Yeah. Whereas niggas like you to work out all the time, inspired.
Right. It's
Yeah.
different. Well, right. We don't need nobody else around.
Yeah.
It's I
Mhm.
go, it's a different thing,
Mhm.
so and that's okay because we all have inspiration. It's just if we're okay with knowing what that is, you have to put that to the test for lack of better words. I don't like using the word test, but there's thresholds in life that show you what's the difference in what motivation is and what you're able to do and what you could do and what you actually are. Because
So
what you actually are.
long,
Oh, go
long,
ahead.
long relationships, marriages that last a lifetime are
Hmm.
inspiration. Then it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
It's
I would.
not when you get a retirement or you're gonna have 3 babies or he gonna be rich or she gonna do all the sex I want. You're motivated to be with this person for reasons that could be lifelong, or they could be 3 months, or they could be soon as this happened. It's no reason to be with the person. You are not inspired when you wake up
Right,
to live with this person or to conquer life or to go through journeys with this person.
right, right. Great point, G. Look, what I'm gonna say is this. This is it's a cool thing, and everybody has different opinions on these. This is why I
Right.
love what I do because I love using words and dissecting what words mean
Mm-hmm.
to different people because there's a lot of confusion in life because different words mean different for different people. No one has the space or um um will to investigate that. So
Right.
for me, what I say is this: you exactly what you're saying. Inspiration feels like a pull to something. It's not. It feels like a there's an effortlessness to it. Not that it doesn't feel that you might have the resistance of life in
Right.
some physical way to it, but there's a fundamental pull to it, right?
Right.
If someone loves, and we can go really simple, if someone loves donuts, they're gonna find a donut shop. If they're inspired to eat donuts, this is a basic
Right.
thing.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, right? So we talk about love and marriage. If someone's inspired to be with someone, even if it's for a lifetime, what they do in that relationship doesn't feel like work because the
Right.
inspiration overcomes what naturally comes with upholding it,
That's right. That's right.
right?
That's right.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the evidence, and
Right.
this is where we have to be honest with ourselves because spirituality 101 comes from fundamental honesty, fundamental truth. That's
So
why
if we were spiritual, we would not only not settle, but we would actually meet the mate that we would want to be with. We would be inspired to
yeah,
be with. But if we're in a
we will be
capitalistic
open.
society and we got these check boxes, is she pretty? Is her parents? How the kids gonna look? How much money we gonna make
Mm,
together? Oh, we have
mm,
fun together. We like the same music. Like so we have all these other things that look great in the moment. I mean, I've been in
mhm.
so many weddings and divorces. I've been in so many
Right,
weddings that ended in divorce. It's
right,
just,
right,
and I just use that as an example, mine's included. So I'm just
right.
using it as an example of if we were spiritual,
Hmm.
then we would know from the beginning if we should even move forward like that. We wouldn't even marry that person because we would both
Well,
be
no,
the
I
spirits
won't
would.
necessarily say that.
Mm-hmm,
I think that's a lot of pressure. I think that is a possibility, but I
mm-hmm,
don't think that's a standard.
mm-hmm.
And I feel like that we need to be clear on that 'cause that puts a lot of pressure. Spirituality is not pressurized like that because some things are realized in real time while you're doing it, and it's for a higher purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
some things are to be avoided. So I think a lot of times it depends on how you wire. Like when I talk to you, G, look, like I know you being my dad,
Mm-hmm.
you're wired and your temperament is to avoid shit that don't need to happen. You're like, I
Right.
don't if I can see that I'm gonna avoid that.
Mm-hmm.
So if God built you that way, then yeah, you may have that type of discernment while
Mm-hmm.
you living,
Right.
and that's maybe your experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some things you do have to taste and walk out because it's part of the flow, even if it's not the totality of your inspiration, because spirituality is permeating through real life in real time.
See, but just you living in truth and you talking a absolute. That's the truth. So if I go to the Hollywood Bowl and there go Charlie Wilson and Alicia Keys, and I look in the audience and it's 3/4 divorced women, and their babies is old, their babies is in college and gone, and they not with their husband. They at the Hollywood Bowl, they got their hair did, their legs look good, they did some sit-ups, and the motherfuckers look ready, right? Did 3/4 of them women, if they were in truth when they met that husband, if they were in spiritual truth, they would still be with that husband, I think. Or they wouldn't have never got with that husband. They would have got with the right husband, and they wouldn't be in the Hollywood Bowl listening to Charlie Wilson and doing all the things that they're doing. If they claim they're led by spirit. That's all I'm saying. It seems like a hypocrisy to me.
Possibly, but that's not full evidence. And this is where people get confused on the evidence of the spirit. Right. And this is why I want to talk about this, because this is why every teacher, every good book says you can't be too worldly and see the spirit, because the evidence of the world is not always, and actually not always, it's not necessarily, that's a better word, the evidence of truth or what the spirit was doing, because the what is the evidence of someone's spirituality is their spirit and the fruits in their spirit. So someone may have went through a divorce, and it's not someone going to get married and getting divorced is not evidence that they wasn't in the spirit when they met that person. It is showing them that they had to have that to see the spirit. So this is where
G, you're making a good point, but what I'm trying to say is, if you stand in front of the church, you claim you're a Christian, one of the rules in the thing is God hates divorce. Back in the day, motherfuckers didn't divorce because they felt like that's my connection. I'm not going to heaven. A divorcee was like motherfucker had to die. And you couldn't marry a widow unless under certain, these motherfuckers trial and error now. Yet still saying Christian. Or saying that they live by the rules of Christian principality. So are you saying under the eyes of God it's okay to be married and be divorced?
Yeah, I'm saying if you say what Christianity is, we talking about Christianity that is the Western religion, the primary Western religion that came off of Jesus the Christ, who spoke a philosophy called the Way.
Right.
That was to free us from the rules, because the rules, he knew that no one could follow the rules. Okay. He knew that the spirit gave truth, and that he knew life had to be messy at times for the spirit to make itself known for what's what. So when you look at how Jesus speaks, Jesus never speaks in law terms. He always said we are saved by faith through grace. Love God first because God loved you, and then you will see what's what. So when I say that, if you go by, it depends on what kind of Christian. Now we get into different dynamics. You're talking about Christians.
Oh no, I want you to get back to your point. Yeah, I want you to get back to your point.
Okay, because we can go down there too.
No, I'm just saying. We're talking about the spirit. Yeah, just for the audience, because I know a lot of people gonna chime into this, and they're gonna weigh in on their Christian value.
Yeah, and we can talk about. So
if you're gonna weigh in on your Christian value, I just don't like people picking and choosing the ones that they want to weigh in on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. See, mine is very simple. Mine's very simple. It's measured the same thing that my brother and my master Jesus said, who we one with, we unify with, and makes us one with the Father, with the source, and everything is by the Spirit. You shall know them by the Spirit.
Right.
Not by because every apostle did different things, preached different to different churches. There's different rules and different cultures. It can't be based by that. You talking about cultural and difference within race and different rules based upon where you at, if you're in the north or the south. That was never the measure ultimately. So we talking about real Christianity is measured by the Spirit. Right. And the Spirit gives evidence by the fruits of the Spirit, which there's a list of the fruits, and that is an energy that you feel.
True.
And that is a continence that you have within yourself.
Right.
So anybody that's a Christian, I want to talk about that. We could really go down to that's why it's the maturation of Christianity. That's what it said. If you're still on baby food, don't destroy your brothers and sisters if you mature, because your brothers and sisters on baby food, they still gotta look at the root. They just getting to understand the spirit. But as your faith increases, you become mature in the spirit, and you're able to be sent out among the nations because you understand that the spirit governs truth, not anything else. Otherwise, you'll be tossed back and forth in the wind, every culture and every person that you see.
So that's why some
Right.
cream rises people. That's why that's facts. That's real knowledge. That's real spit right there. Because I'm just gonna say the objective perspective. I'm just saying. I don't think that those ladies at the Charlie Wilson concert that dressed up in the nice dresses and they got the Spanx on and they looking good. I don't think that the only man they slept with is that nigga that they divorced, and I don't think they're broken by their decision. I think they out there trying to get some more, maybe even a young nigga and an old nigga. You know what I'm saying? I think that once you can be a little bit off, you could be. That's why football coaches want you on time. That's why military wants you on time. It don't really matter if you start exactly on time, but it's the basic discipline of having you on track. Because if you go a little bit off here, you can go a little bit off there. Now we talking about spirituality. They listening to Cream Rises. They got IUDs. They got motherfucking, sex toys at the house. They dressing up on girls' night with their girlfriends. They got wigs and shit. So but they talk about God knows my heart, and they divorced.
Right.
Right. And they waiting for Mr. Wonderful. If you still need Mr. Wonderful, and that's just an old nigga talking about the destruction.
Right.
Because we talking about the gathering of the black family too on this show. So if you eliminate the man. I'm gonna always go back to that. If you eliminate the man out, and you don't need a man, you make $80,000 plus a year. You got a divorce. You don't need the man. Guess what your daughter don't need when she look at you? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the spirit, like you said, that's why I had asked. That's why I was asking you. Should you vet up front when it comes to something, anything spiritual, any interaction with anybody on a spiritual level? Should you vet each other to make sure that you walking in spirit and you lifting each other up? Everybody ain't gonna be you. Yeah. Everybody don't have a brother like you with that temperament there. Hopefully you can teach. Everybody can subscribe. You can get that one-on-one. I hope they know that. But you know what I'm saying, 80,000 people, in the Hollywood Bowl, looking at Charlie Wilson and listening to Alicia Keys and shit, single than a motherfucker, talking about God in my heart. Right. So I don't know.
Right. Well, I know what you're saying, and that's applicable, and I love that because there's levels to that for sure. That's why we bounce us off each other for sure. I will say on the heels of what you were saying too is we definitely I don't like the word test too much because it's not really appropriately like it's not translated appropriately, the word test. It's really sharp in the Western world. It applies that you could pass or fail. It's a very stressful word because we've been programmed in a school system that we get tested. So the human consciousness doesn't use that word well, and it makes it very edgy because we were raised to be competitive and compare in a capitalistic society because we're in the Western world, which started in Rome, where everything is an empire. So when I use these words, I want people to understand. Everybody gotta know who they like. We talking to. Some people we have gifts, and so, but like you said, the testing of the spirits. They say in the Bible, and we'll quote my brother like Jesus. The testing, you test the spirits. Now, if you translate that in a way without the judgment, without the edginess, that's why he also said don't judge. He said you weigh and measure the spirits, right? That was a more appropriate, like you weigh and measure the spirit that you're dealing with according to the role or according to what God has you here to do. Right? God has you here to be. Right. You weigh and measure the spirit. So again, everything is always according to the spirit. That's why spirituality is the foundation and the birth of all things. When quantum mechanics and quantum physics became it's always been around, but when they start making it popular for just for the everyday person, they realized when they went to the smallest molecules and they went inside the atoms and the protons and the neutrons and they went to the quarks, which is the smallest measurable thing that they told us about, and it's even more than that all it was spirit and consciousness and intelligence behind it, and they knew that it acted differently according to who observed it or not, right? So everything is spirit. It's intention manifested.
Yeah.
It's inspiration manifested. That's why they say
Intention
you are who you
manifested.
are.
I like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why you can never hide from who you are. That's why this life is interesting that way. What you are is what you are. It always was. We was just
Right.
playing a game to act like we wasn't, because the spirit behind your molecules,
Mm-hmm.
God had already, the source of all things, had already set that up outside of time. It's an inspiration for you to be exactly what you are.
That's
And that's
right.
why you only at peace when you are what you are, because that's your everything behind every molecule is already made for you to be that.
Right. And now you on point 3 now?
Right. So now, yeah, that's segue into point three.
Okay.
so so
No, but that's
point
deep.
three is
Yeah.
back to the source. So that is point three. So that's the part of point three. The second part of point three is, so we went from connection, inspiration, and now source. Now I said source.
Source.
So
Okay.
now the source. Now we're sourcing things. I love this word. It's one of my favorite words. I use that for God. I like using the word source for God.
Mm-hmm.
It gives it more space and abstraction. Doesn't limit it to a personified form, because when you deal with the absolute, the reason why it's confusion is because most people's minds are made to deal in black or white, so
Right.
they miss how multidimensional God is. God is
Mm-hmm.
personal too,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why God is like a father. Certain religions say God is father, like a father. That's what
Mm-hmm.
Jesus said, because he was in a religion that was family oriented, so he
Right.
had to speak of God as a father.
Right.
But then God is also the source of all things without personality,
Okay.
just the absolute power behind all things,
Yeah.
right? It's the absolution. But then it's also measurable to a degree in science. That's why science be like, there's an intelligence, so they call it intelligence.
Oh
So
yeah.
God is an intelligence, it's a source. Absolution is also like a father and like a mother. It's
Right.
personal, but it's also all powerful, but it's also measurable to a degree.
Right.
So these are aspects of the God. So this is the
Oh yeah.
source
That's why
of what we are.
back in the day, I know during the what the 5%ers, uh,
Mm-hmm.
7%ers. I'm sorry. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the movements in
Mm-hmm.
Black Power was using numerology numbers. They was using
Mm-hmm.
the source. They would break it down just like that,
Right.
and deem themselves gods, and
Yeah.
Brand Nubian and all of them, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's where I
Yeah.
mean, I really wish that movement was still amongst our youth. You know what I'm saying? When
Right.
it comes to that, uh,
Right.
yeah,
Right. Right.
hmm
Right. So the number
mathematics.
three is number
Mm-hmm.
three is a holy, like, so why they call it the Holy Trinity of Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
Third, number three is very, like, a lot of times the threes are repetitive in manifestation, but the three aspect, the Trinity aspect of things, it's not just even a religious thing for Christianity. The third, and a lot of numbers are holy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they're all holy in their own way. But I'm saying aspects. So we understand the triune aspect of the existence of the divine too, and how it spreads and the levels of that. So back to the point is, the third aspect of spirituality 101 is the where the source of everything is coming from, and that understanding, and how you relate yourself to the source. So your connection with it, your inspiration for what you are, and then sourcing that to the all father, to the all source, to the
Right.
absolute.
Right.
And these 3 points, in my experience, in my knowing, and my brothers and sisters will all say this in their own different ways, because we're varied and diversified for a reason, to
Right.
talk to different people, but it all goes back to absolution. These are the continents that gives you your mind, body, soul, your emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical health, the fuel, and the understanding, and the passion, and the energetic home it needs, because that's what we actually are. We're extensions of that
Right.
in a physical form.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's an unscratchable itch in humanity. No matter what we get or do in this place, that always feels a little empty. I don't care if you got 30 kids, you can make 30 kids. You could be 8 feet tall. You
Right.
could you could tattoo your booty all the way down to your feet, all the way up.
Right.
You can you can
Right.
eat. You can make the best food in the world,
Yeah.
but it's something unseen, spiritual, that we are, because we're spirits, and these
Right.
aspects So I'm sharing this because I want to make things that are intimidating and not readily palatable for everybody, because people have roles in this place and they don't seemingly have space or time in their mind, their consciousness, and their life to really dive into the thing that really matters more than anything.
Yeah.
Right. And not saying that anything else is not important, because that's a pouring out of what you are. And obviously we need to live, we need shelter, all these things. And that is part of life as well. But life, the source of life, is what we're talking about here. And this gives us the joy, the power, the understanding, the contentment, the peace, the grace, and further knowings and downloads and openness to know what our eternality is in this experience, based upon what part of the body of the source we are and what our roles are.
Okay.
And yeah, so
that
I know
gets
that I just said a lot
right there. All right, so look. Okay, so look, I'm just going to talk about that. Spirit 101, 3 basic principles of spirituality 101. Say them one more time, G, so then Jay can throw them up there too.
Connection to something higher or bigger than yourself. That's 1. 2, inspiration. The inspiration behind who you are, what you do in your existence. And 3, the source, and the source and from which everything comes from within you, and what the source of everything that is.
Okay. All right. So look, we ain't gonna give you too much to chew on that. Just a basic cornerstone of what you're gonna be expecting us. No matter what subject we're talking about, it's all from the spirit. So we just needed to do Spirit 101 so you guys can understand us as we move forward, as we grow on this platform. Man, thank you guys. I mean, share this with your kids, your family. Hit us. You know, we'll get to that super chat and all that in a little bit as we grow. And so we'll be getting feedback from you guys and bringing guests on and everything like that. So thank you guys. We really appreciate it. Appreciate our team. You know, Jay, Chaz, Gray Area, Real Truck Connect. All of our team, you know what I'm saying? The other JD, you know, all our cowgirls out there, Denise, Michelle, everybody who helps us with the barrel races. Again, we'll have a special announcement about those moving forward. But as this is Cream Rises right here in the GLook Corral, and we're just gonna let you have it. And you know, we would be remiss in our duties not to help you grow spiritually and pour out into you. So thank you guys, and so we'll get with your consciousness again. Thanks for putting it down. And everybody, this is Wednesday. We'll see you on Saturday. And go ahead and hit that Cash App. Go ahead and share. Go ahead and like. Go online to our website and buy a hat. Tell us the color you want, what you want on the back. Support us. And we got a lot of beautiful things coming in the future. So once again, thank you guys for tuning in. And GLook, consciousness. You have a great Wednesday night. And, yeah, man, thanks for that. Just hitting them hard with Spirit 101, Spirituality 101.
Spirituality 101. Thanks, GLook. Appreciate the platform, allowing me to channel and download. It's all love. Let's keep it going. Let's raise everybody's vibration.
Yeah. All right, bro.
Blessings.
See, you like to blame them onions when you cry, but you so sweet, now them onions caramelized. You been asleep, I guarantee I open eyes. Warrants and warranties I can't pronounce. Yeah, I showed up in this world unannounced. Solid gold was the throne I renounced. Lost myself just to